And it's finally so far, Godot 4.7 is finally released after actually not that long of a time. Don't trust my work in progress office too much, it's a work in progress for a reason. But what is not a work in progress is the 4.7 update, an update that I've contributed to as well. And as you will see in the release notes, there's also a demo I made to show off the new drawable textures, but more on that later. Now, I won't go through this entire page, like I'll quickly scroll by to show you all things, but I think it will be more beneficial to show each element on its own. So yeah, let's open the Godot editor and show off some stuff. Okay, so before I show you this demo that I made for showing off the drawable textures in Godot, I first want to show your attention to this area here. Don't mind the RC3. Yeah, I'm filming this on the day that 4.7 gets released. Anyway, this is different. If you take a look at the 4.6 version, it's over here. Yeah, I'm editing this video as I'm going with my own video editor made with Godot. So, go then, give it a watch, give it a look. There's a link in the description. But anyway, this has changed. If I do it like this, it's more noticeable. Yeah, it looks cleaner. I personally think that this looks a lot cleaner. And another thing that is worth mentioning whilst we're like in the editor anyway, the drag and dropping has gotten improved by a lot. I find this a lot easier to like see and drag stuff around in the scene tree, like in the node tree. This will help a lot when making my projects. Another thing, if you, let's see if I can find anything here. I think if I create a mesh, let's go into this mesh. If I go in here, pop-up menus now have a search bar. So if I want a sphere, I can just, voila, I have it. It's that easy, it's that simple. I want a cube mesh, yes. Oh, I thought it was a cube mesh. It's a box mesh, yay. Anyway, this search thing, it's so helpful. Also, if I add a scroll container to this scene, and I go into scroll bar, scroll horizontal by default. We can change it so it scrolls like this by default when you scroll instead of like this. Yeah, finally. This is a PR that I made. This is one of the things that I made. I am very proud of this PR because it's something that I really needed for my video editor. And it did take a while before it finally got the attention that it needed to like actually get merged, but it got merged. Oh, wait, I forgot. Oops. Thank you. Yeah, anyway, back to the editor. So this was one of the things that I added, and for my video editor, especially for the timeline, this will be helpful because right now the way that I'm doing this is by creating custom code that captures my scroll input and converts it, and it causes all kind of issues. And then another, like, I know that I was going to like show off this drawable textures demo, but this is also kind of a nice one. If you go to any nodes, all the code related stuff is now in a monospaced font. If I press on here as well, this is also in a monospaced font. It's a small thing, but it's kind of nice. It is a nice little addition, like a nice little change. Another thing, if you go into the inspector here, you can now copy and paste sections. So I can copy category values and paste it into other areas. This is a nice little addition as well. Like this is like this whole update is filled with such nice additions. So yeah, copy pasting sections. Copy section values of the transform and paste it into any other like node in your scene tree. Yay! There's now also subgroup folding, but yeah, I kind of struggle to find places like this. Yeah, that's now a thing, subgroup folding inside of the inspector. And another thing that they changed is the way that arrays are made. And I think I normally have an array here. Yeah, so this is taking up a way less space. Also, if I run this project, and I finally will run this project, like, look, yay, I can draw drawable textures. You can even add Godot logos. And this demo is available in the Godot demo projects repo. At least it will be once it gets merged when 4.7 is actually released. It will release in a couple of hours. I just wanted to make this video before it got released so I can publish this video the moment that it goes out. But yeah, this will be available in the Godot demo projects repo. The Godot demo projects repo is a very important repo for people starting out with Godot. This honestly does not get recommended enough to beginners. This really needs to be shown more to beginners because it contains a lot of very helpful information on how to do 2D things, 3D, audio stuff, compute shader stuff, which is amazing. I like compute shaders, especially since I started working on my video editor. Compute shaders have gotten my performance up by so much. But yeah, so this is now a thing. Yay! Drawable textures, and this works directly on the GPU, so it's a lot more performant than having to adjust the textures manually and updating them and everything. Yeah, so also this demo, you can put it into a sphere as well if you want to. Yeah, but yeah, anyway, what I want to show is in the remote view. If I press on here now, a remote control node, this now actually has the name of the node itself and not just remote and an idea. So you still get the remote idea next to stuff, but you also get the class name. Then another thing that changed, if we go to, well, basically we can go to any documentation page. The way that the documentation pages are made is cleaner overall. If you take a look at this page, for example, to the actual documentation of the release notes, we can see the structure is slightly different, and especially the space between methods is something I really like. And then one of the things that I hated a lot, and this is basically because every single, like I've actually released projects, and if you want to release projects, you need export templates. You can download them individually now. You don't need to add all the, like, yeah, you needed to install them all. Now you can just select the platforms that you want. No 32-bit, no macOS, no mobile, no web, no. Only the ones that you need. Goes so much faster. Select the templates. It will start loading. Yeah, my internet is not the fastest, but oh. And voila, we have it. We don't need to install download all of them anymore. This is such a nice thing. I don't know how it took so long to be added to Godot. Yes, finally. Also, if you go to project settings, now we can see which GD extensions are being used, installed GD extensions. This project does not have any. This has, but it's not, yeah, this is still a 4.6 version project. But we do use GD extensions, but yeah, it's not visible. For having video playback and rendering instead of Gozen, we do use a GD extension that I've made, but we cannot see it in here. If you take a look at the actual PR that implemented this is how it would look like if there is a, well, basically a GD extension in the project. It will show the minimum version and the maximum version and an easy way to reload. Because right now, if you make any changes to your GD extension, you almost always need to reload the editor if you added functions or removed functions, because it won't detect them in the auto-completion. And yeah, I know there is a lot more that got added in this whole 4.7 release. There's so much more, but I would advise you to take a look in this gigantic file. And even then you will miss things like area light 3Ds is something I really want to experiment more with, but I'm not a 3D creator. Like, I have not really made too many projects in 3D. The asset store thing also got added. Yeah, there's so much. Offset transform for control nodes, which is a nice one. That's one I actually could show off. If we go into the offset transform, we turn it on. I want position to be lower, well, sideways, lower, yay. Yay! This is actually like a very helpful little thing to be able to offset the transforms, to have them more in positions where you actually want them. A nice little addition as well. And a big focus of the whole editor as well was, for the 4.7 update, is HDR. So, yeah, there is a difference between colors, but you really need an HDR display to like properly take advantage of it. I think this mainly got kind of like made in a way so you can see it on low like non-HDR monitors as well. And I do quickly want to go over some of the other things that I implemented, that I added to this update, the 4.7 update, is fixing an error when break scriptless scene. It's for a very specific thing, but it's something that I added. Then there's add highlight support to language server for external editors. This is all LSP stuff. I don't think that most of you will know what this actually does, but basically if your cursor is over a word, it will like highlight where that specific variable, by example, has been used before in the project, in the script that you're currently in. And then another LSP language server protocol thing is add columns to language servers. Like, this is great. And without this PR, it will just say the entire line is a warning or this entire line is an error. With this PR, it shows exactly which part is the error or which part is the warning. And especially for somebody who uses Vim, like if there's an issue, for example, I do this, this entire line colors in 4.7, it does not do that anymore. I directly get taken to the word where the issue is. So, for example, resolution is written wrongly, I go like this to go to the error, but my cursor is at the beginning, not at the word where the actual issue is. So this is something that made me switch to 4.7 for a lot of development stuff, because I really like this. This is like one of the main things that I was looking forward for using 4.7, because it saves me a lot of time to more easily go to everything, every error warning, and have my cursor directly on the thing itself of where the problem is happening. And then we go to the bottom of the sheet, like, yeah, there's a lot more, blah, 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 blah. There's also a lot of Android stuff during this update, if I can find it. Nope. Oh yeah, over here. Virtual joysticks, by example. There is a lot that got added in this update. I'm very happy about a lot of this stuff. Like, here's the Android stuff, picture-in-picture modes. You cannot interact with the picture-in-picture mode, but yeah, if you have like slow-moving games, games that take time, you can quickly go to somewhere else, type a message to a friend or something. But yeah, a lot has added. Linux support, initial touch support for Wayland. I recently switched to Wayland, but I've been moving back and forth because Wayland, it's not really what it promised to be. And then teamwork makes the dream work. Let's see if we can find my name. I got 4 PR, so yeah, my name is bigger. This was something I actually was looking forward to, like, will my name be bigger than like other people? Yes, it is. But yeah, anyway, I just quickly want to go over all the things that I personally find like good about this. Why did this disappear again? This is actually the demo page, like it's not fully released yet, so normal, like that's why I mainly went over the things in this project, because everything is already working. The RC releases are mainly bug fixes. So yeah, anyway, yeah, there was no webcam during this video, and that's for the simple reason is my webcam broke and I need a new one, but I don't have a budget. So yeah, anyway, before we go to the outro, a big thank you to all my coffee supporters. Thank you very much for your support. If you want to become one of these amazing people, then go to the link in the description. And that was it for this video. If you want to see more Godot related videos, please click subscribe. And if you want to learn more about game engines in general, there is a series coming starting next month. So stay tuned, stay subscribed, like the video, and I'll see you all in the next one. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.